Let's speak then to Dr. Chris de Kock, who is a crime analyst, just to give us his initial reaction to this particular appointment. Dr. de Kock, thank you so much for your time. A career police officer for a choice of a police commissioner. And we, of course, saw this as well with the outgoing Ketla Sithole. Would you say it was a good appointment?
Look, I think this is a very good appointment. I can definitely say it's a good appointment. I worked under him. I worked with him when I was in the police. He's a very operational man. He did very well with crime. I mean, he was the deputy police commissioner operational at the time when the current minister was actually the national commissioner. I think they will also work better together, because I think both of them are interested in reducing our crime levels, which is very high at this stage.
Dr. de Kock, I'm going to ask you a personal question. You know him. You've worked with him. Talk to us about his personal traits when it comes to doing this job, because one of the things that the president is saying, which is quite critical, is that the men and women in blue need to throw their support behind him in order to ensure that there is confidence once again in the SAPS, which is something that we saw lacking during the July unrest. You've worked with him. Is this a possibility?
No, it's a possibility. I'm absolutely certain it's a possibility. He is a person who listens to people, you know, experts in their field. So he will listen to the people under him, which are experts in certain areas, which is a very good thing, because if you don't do that as a national commissioner, you will just lose the other officers, and it won't work. Furthermore, as I say, he have got a very broad operational experience in the field, but also even of intelligence. He was acting head of intelligence for a while. That's where I actually worked under him. And I think he listened to people, but he's also firm. And I think he should just be also keeping people responsible. I think that's very important. You know, the two best national commissioners we had, say in the last 20 years, was the late Commissioner Salebe, and then also the current Minister Cele. And both of them listen to people around them, but they also keep people accountable. I think it's very important in the police that if you are told to do something, then you are watched that you are doing it. If you don't succeed fully, well, help the person. But in the end, you have to be kept accountable. And that I missed in the previous, I would say from 2012. From 2012, we haven't seen accountability. We haven't seen any focus on crime. We haven't seen any people kept responsible for crime. Now, every time we just announce the statistics, it's going up.
Pardon me, Dr. de Kock, for coming in there, but one of the things that we've seen in the previous tenure of the police commissioner and the minister was, of course, the tensions around then. But what also became into sharp focus was the work of the police commissioner itself, because there was a bit of a blurring of lines, because people were even confused as to what does the minister do and what does the police commissioner do.
Yeah, look, that is prescribed in the law, and I think it's quite clear. The minister is responsible for policy, for guiding in general politically the police service. He should not become involved operationally. But you must remember, if the minister are frustrated because, I mean, the people under him, the national commissioner and his personnel, doesn't deliver the goods, and the goods is, and the minister is kept responsible for that by everybody, is if crime is high, then the finger point to the minister. Now, the minister as a single person can't go and fight crime. He's dependent on the police. So if the police are doing their job, I think the minister will keep him to his job. But unfortunately, in the previous years, since the minister was appointed, I could see right from the beginning, that he's frustrated, and that's why he himself with operational matters.
As a final question, very briefly, Dr. de Kock, what legacy does the outgoing commissioner then leave behind at the back of what you've just said?
Sorry, I've just...
What legacy does General Ketla Sithole now leave behind as he's outgoing?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but for me, the bottom line is crime. I mean, the Commissioner Sithole can tell me he did this or that, whatever, but when it comes to crime, he leaves, unfortunately, a very sad legacy behind. We are in trouble when it comes to crime.
All right, Dr. de Kock, thank you so much for that and for really giving us your insights into the man who you've worked very closely with at some point, working under him there in crime intelligence. That was Dr. Chris de Kock, a crime analyst, giving us his sense of the newly appointed commissioner. In fact, he's now the Police Commissioner, Fannie Masemola.